Howdy there, my name is Jim Turner, and I've been having this process going on for a while now. Oh, please subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell. And so, um, I've lost my hives. Well, last year was the first one that survived. And I created a bottom screen board. So what happens is the bottom screen board, and I threw that out, I threw that bottom screen board in there that I made, like, when the bees were already in big trouble. They were like coming out with the deformed wing viruses, and they didn't look well. It was about this time of year, actually, last year. And yeah, they were in big trouble last year, this time. In fact, the previous year, I lost both of my hives that I had to the same thing. Varroa mites got in there, they carried that DWV, carried other viruses, and they killed my two previous hives. In fact, I've had probably five hives, six hives. Well, now I got six, so I've had six hives. Out of six hives, I've got two, and one is from a swarm that I caught a few months back. And I don't know what they're doing. It's like, for a while they look good, and then all of a sudden there's no navigations coming out. It's like she lays eggs, and then she takes these 2-3 weeks break, lays eggs, and then breaks. That's actually really good. I mean, because the Varroa mites really can't get started. They can't like explode, right? So yeah, so the swarm that I caught, that queen, she's being very strategic, right? She's laying eggs intermittently. Like she'll boost them and then stop. Have a boost of eggs and then stop, nothing. I haven't seen one single drone come out of that hive either. So I don't see any evidence of her laying any drones. So maybe she's learned, huh? So what I got here is my ongoing process. This is, I call it now my observational panel. And so what those mites do, and in fact all kinds of other bugs get in there, they fall in this and they start cleaning themselves, trying to get all this oil off of them, and they just can't do it. The more they clean themselves, the worse it gets. So what I do is I just kind of spread this vegetable oil all over here really good, create some crevices and some hills and some mounds, and just kind of really make it difficult for those Varroa mites to try to crawl around, get the edges, and create some circles and stuff. So, because those Varroa mites, they're smaller than some of these little curves that I'm making, so they have to crawl through this stuff. And I've watched them. I mean, they're still alive. I'll pull this out, one of these out. I'll look at it, and that Varroa mite's in there, it's down there like trying to get that oil off, and I can tell the more it tries to get the oil off, the more it gets consumed by the oil, and yeah. So that's my panel, and it is ready to rock and roll. And now the next thing I'm going to do, because what I'm going to do also today, is I'm going to do what's called a sugar shake. Now I've been doing this sugar shake since last year about this time. So after I created that screen panel, so I designed that screen panel so that there's a little gap so I can slide this panel underneath there. And so the bees are walking along that screen, and all those Varroa mites are walking around in there. They get knocked off inadvertently, right? And they, instead of falling down inside and landing on that wood surface, which is typical what a hive is, and then just jumping right on because they can jump like this high. So instead of jumping right on to the next bee that walks by, which is typically what happens, they drop through that screen and they land on my panel here, and they're done. They can't. Yeah, they're history, right? So I got my panel ready to go now, and this time of year is best to do it like every 4 days. But I've had so many things going on. I think it's been 2 weeks or something, or somewhere in there. Yeah, way longer than I should. Well, that's the other project. So what I do is I protect my ears, because we only have one set. And so I fill this blade up. I filled it up to the blade, so I can just barely see that blade. And then I turn it into a powder. Like a smoky powder. So once it starts to look smoky in there, I know it's done. Because if we leave those in granule state, what'll happen, those bees will just carry it out. They can't break it down. Unless it gets wet somehow. Now if those granules get wet, yeah, they can actually consume it then. Because that granule will start to dissolve. And so that's looking pretty close. Looking pretty smoky. Yeah. Now this is just your cheap coffee grinder. There we go. Now I wanted to see it really start to stick to the top when I shake it. Yeah, I want to see really smoky in there. I want to leave as little granules as possible. Right? So what I'm going to do is take that, which is now it's powdered sugar, right? It is now powdered sugar. And what I like about this is it doesn't have any starch. That's what I like. No starch. It's just pure powdered sugar. Here, I'll show you. I mean, many folks haven't seen this kind of thing. Some of you folks have seen some of my videos, but most have not. So you can kind of get an idea. That's just like powder, man. That's like, it's just powder, right? Pretty cool, right? Huh? Uh-huh. So, I don't know if that's enough or not. Maybe. Maybe it's enough. So then what I do is I take a screen like this, and what I'll do is I'll be kind of like shaking it like that. Then I take a brush and I'll brush that smokiness in there, in that hive. So today what I'm probably going to do, because there are so many wasps out there I've watched the other day, I was just sitting there taking my break, and hives, wasps are all over the place. And I watch my bees, they're on the landing board, walking around, not minding their own business. I watch the wasps come in, land, grab one of my bees that just mind her own business, and flew off with her. Yeah, wasps are predators, right? So, yeah, this is the time of year they're trying to store up protein for the queen's winter survival, right? So, yeah, it's pretty bad out there right now with the wasps. They're pretty aggressive, and not only that, there's still. So I've seen an increase of the wing virus, right, which is DWV. I've seen a gradual increase in that, but in the previous years, this time of year, it's nothing like it's been. I'd go out there, I'd clean all the ones that are infected, you know, blow them all off and clean them all up, and because I have a flat, solid surface where they drop off to, and I would go out the next day, still hundreds, new ones, right, crawling all over, some dead, have all that deformed wings, and so I've seen that all year last year, and I've seen it all winter. So they maintain that virus in that hive since I've got that hive, which is a year and a half ago. So they've never eliminated that virus. That DWV has stayed in that hive from day one. So, and now on the swarm that I caught in May, I have not seen one DWV girl out there on the ground in front of that hive. Only the old one, the old hive. So my old girl, she's never taken a break. That girl just keeps laying and laying and laying. She never took a break even through the winter. I'd go out there in the middle of winter, you know, all through winter. Didn't matter what month it was or what day or week, right? If it was 40 degrees or above and it wasn't stormy or raining heavy, there was navigation orientation flights. They'd come out and they'd go out and they'd get food, and I'd see them coming in with food. I'm going like, where are they getting all that food? Because they came up with a lot of food all winter long. I could not find any flowers in my neighborhood, so I don't know where they were getting it. Maybe somebody around here has beehives and they do outside feeding, and my girls just went and helped themselves. I don't know. I don't know. That was really weird. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to go out there and I am going to pull the old observational panel out, slide this one in, and then I'm going to do a powder shake. And then I'm going to pull the observational panel on the swarm that I caught, because when I pulled that last also, they had Varroa mites. It wasn't high, but the thing is, Varroa mites are going to always be in hives. They're here to stay. They ain't going nowhere. You can bring the count down, but they're going to come in from the outside. But the Varroa mites are everywhere out there, and so your bee is going to land somewhere. Could be on the ground, because bees are on the ground all the time. So are the Varroa mites. And I watched my bees many times on the ground scavenge for stuff in the ground. When I found out what it is, they'll scavenge for salts, potassium, zinc. They'll scavenge for minerals, right? And certain other elements. They just don't go to flowers, right, to get what they need, the nectar and the pollen. So the nectar is, they put the nectar in what's called a nectar sac, right, or a honey sac. That's next to their gut. So they put it in. There's one line that goes down into the nectar sac from their mouth, and another one the line goes down into the gut. And so they'll go into a flower, get the nectar, put it in their honey sac, and then the pollen they'll store into their little leg sacs. So when you see bees that have stuff on their legs, that's only one thing. That's 100% pollen. That's the protein. That's really important. And they make the bee bread out of that to cap the brood and all that, and other things. And so that's the protein. They use that to make the royal jelly to feed the queen. Put those little droplets inside each cell when the queen lays an egg. A little bit of royal jelly. Yeah. So they need both. They need the the energy, which is the sugars, which is the nectar, and they need the pollen, the protein. Okay, so I'm going to put this on pause, and I will see you outside. Oh, please subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, leave a comment. This is a baby channel, still trying to say, wah. I try to give it a bottle, but it doesn't want to take it. So, all right, there you go, and I'll see you out there. All right.